Friday. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. Yes, it is Friday. You made it. It's the end of the week. And we got another rock and roll afternoon for you, or midday show for you here on the program. Got some stuff to talk about today on the show. Hope you guys are doing well out there on a beautiful Friday. Appreciate those of you tuning in. As always, I know we got to build it up now as we get the folks up on the chat board and ready to go, which by the way, I do want to mention to everybody podcasting, everybody on YouTube, I do want to thank you because we hit the 200 likes yesterday again, so we surpassed it. So it's building up every single day, which is a beautiful thing, and we appreciate all of you out there for supporting the show as you always do. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I see Julius in Miami is the first one checking in on the chat board, and Omar Lopez also checking in already on the chat board. So appreciate all of you. I think we were like a minute early or something like that, something along those lines. Anyways, hope everything is well out there. Man, this will be an interesting day today. Plenty of things to talk about on the show, sports-wise, a little bit of life, a little bit of music, all kinds of good stuff that we'll bounce around with after we went through 3 days of mini camp for the Miami Dolphins. And listen, for me, it's I don't get too high, too low about anything that has to do with mini camp, because it's just, like the coach said, you can't get a read on offensive linemen, and we've talked about this for many years now. You can't really measure defenses. You can't really measure things at this point in time. Sometimes you can have a little fun with the passing game, at least if there's one-on-one, with the corner and the wide receiver and the quarterback throwing to them. You can get a little bit of something out of that, but not that much really, because in the end, you're still not in a game-like situation. There isn't the same kind of pressures on you, all of those kind of things. So to me, the offseason is about them getting mental reps, and those of us as fans basically just praying that there aren't any injuries. I mean, really, that's kind of what it's all about. I'm just glad that nobody seriously got injured during this minicamp, because those are the things that really kill you as a fan about the offseason. Some guy blows out his Achilles in May or June running around in shorts, and you're like, oh, crap, dude. Now you lost this guy for the whole season, and we haven't even gotten to games that matter. And these aren't even practices that matter. And we're talking about practice, that kind of stuff. Practices that matter is once we get to training camp and the preseason, you know what I mean? In a mini camp, you hate to see some guy blow out his knee, blow out his Achilles, whatever, all those kind of things. That it happens all the time in the NFL. And you're just praying, at least for me, that's how I've treated the offseason over several years now. I just want the Dolphins to get out of the offseason with health. That's it. That's all that matters. The rest is just a bunch of stuff that people are, pushing and trying to create some kind of controversy where there is no controversy, or trying to create doubt where there is no doubt. It's funny because we talk in the crypto world about FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? Although I kind of call it deceit at times instead of doubt. I know the word is doubt, but I kind of like to use deceit, because that's kind of what I think has happened in the crypto world lately. And I think it happens also in sports. And I think that there are people out there that are writing and doing radio shows and television shows, and they're trying to put FUD out there, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because that's what stirs up your emotion. When you turn on the news every night, they're not talking about all the good things happening. They're talking about that robbery, this murder, that assault, this flood, that, torrential downpour. That's what they talk about. There are very few. They're not going to do a half hour where they talk about, well, the Girl Scouts Association of Broward County raised $100,000 for kidney relief, and this and that. And hey, in Dade County, the Nuns Association of Dade County, which I don't even know if there isn't one, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever, raised money for multiple sclerosis. We're not going to do any of that. It's just there'll be one or two nice stories in a half-hour newscast. But in that half hour, it's about the shooting in Hollywood. It's about the shooting in Chicago. It's about the fires out in the West Coast. It's about whatever disaster's going on in life. That's what they do, because that's what gets clicks. And then you guys are going to react to negativity a lot more than the positivity. Is anybody going to talk about Byron Jones complimenting Noah Igbenogany? No, they're not, because it's a positive, and nobody gives a shit about a positive. Byron Jones is talking about how impressed he was with the young man and how he's been handling the offseason and how he looks already like he's more comfortable. Is he going to be a better player? Well, none of us really know that until he takes the field again. But these are the things that the FUD is what sells. And so for me, these last 3 days of minicamp for the Dolphins, I just do this, guys and ladies out there. This is all I do. I just cross my fingers and I pray that the Dolphins don't have any serious injuries, because that's all that matters in the end. Okay, we've already been proven that the Dolphins have the kind of coaching staff that they're going to make every player better out there. You know what I mean? And so that, to me, if you want to sum up what minicamp was all about, it's really that there were no serious injuries. That's really what it's all about. That's the only reason that I would look at minicamp and call it a success, is no injuries whatsoever. All right. Let me see the roll call here. Julius, like I said, number 1. Omar 2. Gus 1388. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mike Dizzle says, Big O, good morning, my brother, all the way from Washington, D.C. Keep it up. No matter where I move to or you move, I'm listening. That's awesome, bro. I appreciate that. That means a lot, man. It really does. And the response that you, Mike, and everybody else already downloading the podcast, watching the shows, hitting that like button, smashing the hell out. You guys have smashed the hell out of that like button the last couple of days. You have, broken the records every single day. I don't know if we can get to 250 today, but that would be awesome if we can continue to raise the likes, because that raises the exposure of the show and it gets it out to more people. So I'm so flattered with everything that's gone on the last couple of days since we restarted this, which, it kind of reminds me of, this is what we need to keep doing, you know what I mean? And hopefully by this weekend, by the way, we will fix all the issues, okay? Because right now we're doing the YouTube show straight out of the iPad. I got some folks coming over today, and we're going to work on getting everything through the board so I can run it and all that. And by the way, just for those of you tuning in, tomorrow we will have a show. We will have a special show tomorrow. Bill is going to join me tomorrow. He's going to come by and he's going to rock out with me here for a little bit. So we'll have a little fun tomorrow. Bill will stop by. Sean actually is going to come by today and help me with the technical stuff, because he's the technical guy. So I'm going to try to get everything set up where we can, put the YouTube automatically through my board, and then we can do the interviews and we can do sound and all those kind of things. And I can do it, but for the podcast only. If I start playing sound, nobody on YouTube will hear it, unfortunately. And so we can't do that. So we've done straight talk here for the first couple of days, but hopefully next week everything will be back to normal, and we'll have a couple of different features that I'm hoping to add to the show, so it looks a little better. It's a little bit more presentable. I mean, this is not bad. This is fun to do and all that, but not necessarily what I want to do overall. So, Mike Dizzle, thank you very much, man, for the super chat. That is very, very nice of you to send that in, and I appreciate it immensely. Obviously, your support in many ways is important. You know, if you can super chat it, we appreciate it. If you can smash that like button, that is also priceless. And smash the like button on the podcast, on YouTube, all over the place, man. And subscribe. Also subscribe. That is very, very important to subscribe there. So let me continue on the rundown here. King Short is in. Gus 1388. Too Extreme. Brandon Flood. Mauricio Arteaga. Adam Pinksker. Let's see. He says, glad to hear and see you back online. Happy Friday. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Man of 1,005 holds. Too Extreme says the Boston Celtics meltdown has already begun. Yeah, I know. And they traded back for Horford and everything. It's crazy. They just traded Kemba and all that. That's it's weird. Kemba's now been on 3 teams in a couple years now. Let's see. King Short is in. Mike Jamorzek is in. Tom Flores, the media just wants to create stories. It bleeds, it leads. Yes, sir. You are correct. Ian from Brooklyn. David Pridham, give us dirty laundry. That's it. John Santos, yesterday I purchased my Tua jersey. I'm showing my support, my faith in Tua. I believe he is the face of the Dolphins organization. Let's go Dolphins and Tua. I agree, and you did good. I got my Tua jersey a while back, man. I'm in. John Rouse is in the house. Let's see what else. And Anthony Manzano. Lewis Jones, all in. Thank you all out there. Man of 1,005 holds says, awesome, Bill. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I was talking to Bill last night. And so, because obviously he's got a regular job. And so, like I told you guys, until there's stability here, I can't do anything about that. You know what I mean? Leon Fresco, thank you, sir, chiming in with a little super chat. Man, it's nice to have the voice back and not have to worry about struggling with the voice. Man, it is good. He says, Big O, what about trading Butler and restarting? You know, that is an interesting question. Trading Jimmy Butler. You know, there are many layers to that story, Leon. I don't know if it would be a bad look for the Heat to then move on from him. First of all, you've got to find a taker because he's probably not going to go quietly. And he probably won't accept you trading him to a crappy team. And then you've got to trade him to a team that needs some leadership and players that have a spine and can handle a brutally honest person, because that's what Jimmy is. He's a brutally honest guy. He's going to bring it every night, but if you don't bring it, he's going to tell you about it. And I don't have a problem with that. The Heat doesn't have a problem with that because they're like that. You know what I mean? They demand that their players be professional and play hard all the time. That's why, to me, the Whiteside signing was baffling, because there was nothing about Hassan Whiteside that said he's a Heat type player. You know what I mean? And James Jones had the character, you know, the work ethic to be a Heat player, right? Tyler, I'm sure, could be a Heat player, but he wasn't good enough is the problem. You know, the other guys they didn't lack character, but Whiteside lacked all the character that you could possibly need. So with Jimmy, it's a difficult situation, Leon, because you've got to find somebody that has the cap space, somebody willing to give you back some kind of draft pick or player or something like that. You got to think of a team that needs the leadership to put them over the top. I got to tell you, the team he came from is the team that needed him the most, actually, the Sixers. The Sixers was the team that they should have signed him and not Tobias Harris. But now that they have Tobias Harris and they have Simmons and they have Embiid under contract, it's just, mathematically impossible to add a fourth, max out player. So, Leon, I understand what you're saying. And it actually, in the long run, would be the best move for the Miami Heat if they can come off of Jimmy Butler's contract. Because if you can't acquire a whale now, this offseason, which they won't be able to because there are no whales available, and we talked about this yesterday, Kawhi Leonard's not coming here. Why would he leave the Clippers to come here? Clippers are better. It's going to leave a better situation for a worse situation? I doubt it. And then on top of all of that, now you've got a knee injury, so he's constantly injured. You have to be careful now. Toronto had all that stuff where they managed his playing time and all that, and then they were able to put the Storm together, and it worked out, and they got their championship, and that's it. So, but you look at the last 2 years for him, and it hasn't been as nearly as productive. So, in theory, what you're saying, Leon, is interesting, but in reality, the Heat would then be making a complete 360 about Jimmy. That means they would be changing their entire tune, which, that would contradict everything that they've done up to this point. They've been dead set on building around Jimmy, not tearing it all down again. So it doesn't go with what they're trying to do. But the flip side is you've got to find a trade partner. You've got to find a team that is willing to take on a strong character. You've got to have a strong coach. You better have players around that he's there to join a team that needs that extra star and that extra emotional lift, let's say, on a night in and night out basis. So I don't know what situations you would call perfect for Jimmy to get traded to. And then there's the flip side. Your fan base would be a little confused because obviously a lot of us have fallen in love with Jimmy. We love what he's done. I love what he's done, except I compartmentalize things. As much as I love what he's done, I've seen what happens when you tie yourself to bad contracts, and giving him an extension would be a bad move. But what Leon brings up is very interesting, because are you better off just trying to move him as soon as possible if you're going to tell him no to an extension? If you're going to say yes to the extension, he's not going to care. He's going to be happy. He's going to get his money. That's what he's been wanting. He's been wanting a couple things. His team, which is what it's been the last 2 years, and his money. Well, he got his money in his first stage. Will they give him the money again? And you guys already know how I feel about this. I would not extend Jimmy Butler whatsoever. If you don't see his body breaking down from here, like I see it, then I can't help you. Because you can't expect a smooth next 4 years with all the mileage he's got on that body. Okay? So to me, I don't know. I would not extend him, but trading him is a very interesting scenario. Now, coming up with the right combination, that might be the hardest part of that all, Leon. Oh, being that Brad Stevens got promoted to the head coach of basketball operations of Boston, do you think Eric looks at that and knows that he might become the basketball operations head if Riley won't retire? Eric is still young. Look, man, I don't know how long he wants to coach. Maybe Eric wants to coach another 10 years, so this is a moot point. The problem is we have no idea if Eric wants to step down or not. We don't know if he wants to move up to be a GM and he's done with being a coach. So I don't know how to answer that. I don't know of any report that says Eric Spoelstra is dying to get out of coaching, wants to move up, but Riley's stopping him because he's the president of basketball operations. I think Riley would accommodate Spo to the point that if Spo wanted to be the GM, they'd elevate him to GM. Riley will stay as team president, and Eric will run the organization. I think Riley, trusts him enough. Now, would Riley have input? Of course, and he'll have his say and all that, and those two can work together. It's not like they're working together now, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? So I just don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that because none of us really know what's going on behind the scenes. And I haven't heard anything that Eric Spoelstra's, dying to retire. So I don't know about that. Good morning, Big O. Do we really need X for the Dolphins defense to be elite if he sits out this season? That's from Jeffrey's Corner. And Jeffrey, it's all up to Noah. If Igbenogany can play ball and cover that side, then yeah, the Dolphins defense can be elite. But if there's, as they say, a hole in the dike, and Jones has got one side, but the other side is inconsistent with Noah or whoever else they put out there filling in for X, then no, they can't be. Because then you've got a situation on one end. And teams will then take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. Until Noah actually takes the next step, we won't know if they can be an elite defense. Good morning, Big O and Big O Nation. GP Trap Hewitt is in. Michael Garcia is in. Thank you. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. There we go. Two Extreme says, Jimmy Butler staying. Riley and Spo value the leadership and dog mentality so much more than his age. Probably. But that's blind love to a certain extent. Because I just think an extension will be terrible. Sid says, oh my God, you're around. I never went anywhere, Sid. If you didn't stay in touch, I have Twitter. It's called Big O Show. You find out everything there. Everything. Whether I'm at 640 or at 1210, or I'm doing on-site radio, or I'm doing the podcast, or I'm on Sirius. It's all there. It's not like I haven't stopped doing anything. Now, it's been on different platforms. Okay, but I love that people say, oh, you're back. You're this. I never left. I never left. Now, if you're not, social media savvy, I can't help you. But, I never left. Just go to the podcast. There's shows there for a couple years now. It's all there. It's not like it lacks anything, whether it's the onside zone or this, I love that. I appreciate it, Sid, but I never left. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O and Big O family. How are you doing on this wonderful Friday morning? We're doing good. Akaris 1, the Heat needs Zion. Well, I don't know if you saw this story. Now that you brought it up, what's it called? Zion's family now is unhappy with what's going on with the New Orleans Pelicans. And I understand that he says they need Zion. The problem is, we got to live in reality, okay? The Heat have nothing to trade. Understand that. Bradley Beal cannot be had by the Miami Heat. They have nothing to trade. They have no picks at all. And Tyler Johnson lost all his sauce. All right? He probably gave it all to his IG model. All right? So that's where we get Heat fans. I've said this before. The Heat are such a great organization. They've developed zombies in some of you. Because you sit there and you go, oh, yeah, we're going to get Kevin Durant when you got no shot at Kevin Durant. Or we're going to sit there with LaMarcus Aldridge a couple years ago. Oh, yeah, we're going to get him. No, you got no shot at him. And again, the last 2 years, trying to get a whale, not going to happen. You're not going to get Bradley Beal. You're not going to get Kawhi Leonard. And now you have nothing. You have nothing to trade at all. Tyler is not wanted that much anymore. So you're not going to get anything of value. And because you have no first-round picks, and hell, no second-round picks to trade, you got nothing, man. So you're not going to acquire Zion. You're not going to acquire Bradley Beal. You're not going to acquire Jack because there's 25 teams that have more capital than the Miami Heat. You know how we talk about in Davie, soon to be in Miami Gardens, the Miami Dolphins, okay, they have all the draft capital. They continue to, while Chris Greer deals in the present, he prepares for the future. The Miami Heat don't prepare for the future. They live for the now. And because they live for the now, they have now screwed themselves that they can't acquire anything. So it's nice that to say, oh, we need Zion. Oh, we need this guy. We need that guy. You can't get shit. You can't get jack shit. Okay? Miami Heat have done a piss poor job of preparing for the future because they live in the now. And so they put themselves in a box every single time. And now Zion's family is reportedly complaining. They parted ways with Van Gundy after one season. They've been unable to put together the right elements around Zion Williams. So now the family, multiple sources, told The Athletic that for most of the season, certain Williamson family members voiced displeasure with the organization. Among the targets of their criticism was Van Gundy, who they felt was too rigid and demanding as a head coach, but also with the organization, which they claimed did not live up to what they felt should be the standard for a star like Williamson. Numerous opposing league executives had heard the complaints, and they were confirmed by the Pelicans officials. So now, now Zion hasn't been personally complaining, but it's been the people around him. And remember, we live in a different world now, man. We live in a world now where the parents will come out and complain, and the players now, these young players, these millennials, these Generation Zs, they have a sense of entitlement already when they haven't earned anything, which, by the way, Zion hasn't earned anything. Yeah, he's a hell of a talent, but he hasn't earned anything. And the flip side to that, and I was going to talk about this story, I'm glad you brought it up. Think about this. Look how lucky we are in Miami. We've got the sun, the fun, the beaches. We got a great organization, obviously. Mickey Harrison, Pat Riley, they do a phenomenal job. Spo is one of the best coaches in the NBA, been one of the best coaches in the NBA the last 20 years. And so we're blessed with all of that. And we're also blessed that when players come down here, they want to be here. But in New Orleans, they don't really want to be there, okay? People want, and I'm sorry for anybody that might be watching or listening in the New Orleans area, people really don't want to live in New Orleans. We all like to visit New Orleans. I love to go down to Bourbon Street, hang out for a night or two, go see the bands, go have a hurricane. What's that other one that it's the Hurricane and the Grenade. Maybe smoke a cigar, walk up and down the streets, see the craziness, and then you're out. You don't really want to live there. It's not really considered a desirable place. And so can you imagine the NBA players? They don't want to be in Minnesota. They don't want to be in Cleveland. They don't want to be in Sacramento. They don't want to be in Orlando. I mean, Orlando at least has all that other stuff for the family and all that, and they don't even want to be there either. And so when you get drafted to these kind of places and you're a star, or you have star potential, you only give them a certain amount of time. And if they don't figure it out, I want out of here, bro. I need to get out. And then they want to go somewhere else. And they want to go to Brooklyn. And they want to go to Miami. And they want to go to the Lakers. And they want to go to the Clippers. And they want to go where it's sexy. Where there's some nightlife, where there's some stars, where there's an ambiance, all that kind of stuff. Unless you get a Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's kind of a homebody family guy, and he's all right with living in Milwaukee. But most of these young guys who are Americanized, Giannis isn't, they're not going to want to live in certain places. So it's got to be rough being a Pelicans fan, because deep down inside, players don't want to come here. They don't want to stay. So the GM has a very small window to please that star. And you know what doesn't help? Anthony Davis complains, wants the hell out, gets out of New Orleans, and then goes to win a title with the Lakers. That doesn't help when you bring in the next star, because they're going to say, well, I can't win here. I'm going to do what AD did. I'm going to leave and go win a title somewhere else. So, two sides to that story. Williamson, the clock already started ticking for them, because eventually he will either play just one contract there and get the hell out or get traded, or two, they figure out a way of actually building a real team. But as for the Heat, those of you out there that are Heat fans, that ain't going to happen, man. That ain't going to happen at all. You can forget about, getting a star player here, because they got no money here in order to do something like that. So that to me, that's the only part. But again, I know we're going to have the Heat zombies out this offseason, and they're going to start making crap up and filling their heads with crap. I mean, it's not like your heart hasn't been broken enough lately that really they haven't gotten the stars. And they got Jimmy because Jimmy was dying to have his own team, and he also wanted the big money. So there weren't a lot of teams lined up to do that. And one of the things that I've been worried about is, can they pair another star with him? And I thought they could, but they haven't been able to. And I said this when they acquired Jimmy. You better get the star in his first 2 years, because after that, it's not going to be pretty. And we've passed the 2 years now. I'm pretty terrified of what direction Jimmy's body is going in. I got to be honest. I don't think it's a good thing. And if they sign him to a long-term contract with no capital to trade or make improvements, the Heat are going to be stuck in a rut for a couple more years. They're going to do the same thing they did when they tied themselves to all those bad contracts. They're going to be one kind of team, a first-round exit type team, and that's it. And it's nice to make the playoffs, but obviously when you're spoiled here, you want to go deeper and you want to, actually accomplish more. But this Zion stuff, or Bradley Beal, or Kawhi Leonard, please don't kid yourself. Don't set yourself up for a disappointment. The Miami Heat have nothing to trade for those guys. And there's a bunch of teams that are going to have way better offers than Miami. So that part I don't think is going to happen. Let's see what else. What trades do you think the Marlins need to make to improve the team? I think we need to trade some of our veteran pitching to get a power bat, because we have a lot of young pitchers in the system. Yeah, Anthony, I don't think they're going to do anything now. I don't think they're looking to make any kind of moves. The only kind of moves the Marlins are going to make is they're going to unload some of their, like Aguilar or somebody, for a young arm, a young bat, something like that. They're not doing anything to try to make a run. I mean, for Christ's sake, they are, what is it? I wrote it down here. What are they, like 10 games under 500 or 11 games? I thought I had it here. No, I did not write it. Let me see. Do I have it here? Where the hell is it? Yeah, 29 and 39, 10 games. They're 10 games under 500, starting a set with the Cubs today. I don't see it, my brother. I don't see them. I got to be honest with you. I don't think anything makes any sense right now to make any moves. I think this is a season where you continue to play your young guys and try to develop the Jazz Chisholms of the world and all the other cats that you have, and try to maybe give J.J. Blvd a call-up later in the season and start to work that, and then keep working with your pitchers all throughout, the young pitchers, and build those arms up and build the confidence up, and then go into next season, and the next season maybe you start to tweak it a little bit and make a move or two. But this year, I just don't see them doing it. I really don't. Let's see. Would you bring in Le'Veon Bell or Adrian Peterson? No, I would not. No. First of all, Adrian Peterson, you forget about that. That doesn't, you don't bring Adrian Peterson here. Le'Veon Bell, there's a couple of layers to to adding Le'Veon Bell to the Dolphins. And my problem with doing something like that is that Le'Veon Bell has not proven to be a smart guy. And Flo wants to have guys that are team guys, that are smart guys, and Le'Veon Bell is all about himself. I mean, this is a guy that walks away from Kansas City and says, I'll never play for Andy Reid again. Says he enjoyed playing with his teammates, this and that. I mean, how many people do you see complaining about Andy Reid? That's crazy, dude. People love playing for Andy Reid. And so Le'Veon Bell, for me, is such a knucklehead that, and maybe he was pissed that he didn't get enough, playing time with them. I don't know. Whatever it is. But Le'Veon Bell has this attitude that I don't think fits with the Dolphins. And if the Dolphins want to have a carousel of backs, then how's Le'Veon Bell going to handle it when he's on the bench? You see what I'm saying? Le'Veon Bell is not the guy you want for your locker room. Okay? He's just not a good locker room guy. Super talented guy. It's a real shame because he was clearly one of the 3 best backs in the NFL while he was with Pittsburgh. But then, after losing his grip on that job there because he was an idiot and they got rid of him, I just know something about this story that really nobody knows around the league. But anyway, I got to kind of keep it to myself. But, he kind of forced his way out of Pittsburgh for being a moron, a disrespectful moron. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right? He disrespected the Rooney family in a way that is pretty disgusting. And so he found his way out. And clearly we've learned this from Mike Tomlin, which obviously a lot of us did not know, because I thought he was losing a grip on his team, which they have kind of turned soft. They're more of a finesse than punch you in the mouth anymore. They've kind of lost what the Ravens still do. They don't do that anymore. But whatever. But I will give him credit that he had to balance Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell. But think about it. Since Le'Veon Bell's been released, he can't really find a home, unfortunately. He's had trouble. And so, to me, Le'Veon Bell is a guy that I don't think can be a team player. And I don't think he would fit with Brian Flores. I really don't. And I think he's the guy that would see Myles Gaskin play well and then complain about playing time. And they won the game, and Myles Gaskin ends up with 110 yards and a touchdown and 42 yards receiving and a touchdown. And then he's sitting in the locker room complaining, hey, man, I'm not getting any playing time. And then here are all the beat writers writing the FUD. You know what I mean? And it's like, we should be celebrating Myles Gaskin. We should be celebrating the win for the Dolphins. We should be talking about the team. And here's Le'Veon Bell. Me. So for me, Le'Veon Bell is definitely not a guy that I would want on my team. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see. The Big O show should be called The Walking Dead. Okay. All right. We can do that if you want. Jimmy needs a true number one. Problem is, there is no number one to bring in. Shaking my head. Yes, you are correct. There is no number one, and the Miami Heat have no ammo to trade for a number one. 0 ammo. Let's see what else. JG Long, good morning, Big O. Thank you, JG. Appreciate you out there. Remember, folks, smash that like button, man. Smash it. You guys broke the record yesterday. We wanted to break 200. We broke the 200. Let's go, man. Let's break. I think it was like a 211 already. Let's break it, man. Let's get to 250 today. So those of you watching, one of the most important things you can do is smash that like button, subscribe, do all of those things. Very, very important. I heard Albert Wilson's in great shape and says he looks forward to mentoring Waddle. Yeah, he'll mentor him for about, a couple months, and then he'll be cut. Let's see. 90 miles from Cuba. Big O, happy Friday. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, my man. Let's see. Oh, as media personnel that covers sports in South Florida, do you actually believe the rumors that the Panthers might get Patrick Lane from Columbus? Look, I don't know enough about that to know if they're in the works to get it or not. But I'll tell you this. If Viola and Sifu can make it happen, they will. They will. So I would not put it past them. They're great owners, man. They're great owners. Look, it's a lot like Jorge Mas right now. It's a lot like Stephen Ross. It's funny because we let me talk a little bit about South Florida ownership here, because you talk about this, and it's funny because we have a trend that is happening on a consistent basis. And the only guy that did not go through it was Mickey Arison. Mickey bought the team, and the first thing he did was hire Riley. So he freaking he got at the plate, and he looked at Roger Clemens, and he said, "Oh, so you're going to throw at my head now? Okay, next one? Come on, bring it. Here you go, bitch. Opposite field home run." Remember that? That's Mickey Arison. Mickey Arison was Miguel Cabrera looking at Roger Clemens, laughing at him, going, "Hey, let me tell you something, old man. I'm about to take you to the house." Okay? One of the greatest baseball moments ever in Marlins history, period, was that moment right there. Top 3 for me. That was just, that. I still get goosebumps from that moment. Okay? That's how sweet of a moment that was. That was Mickey Arison. How about Stephen Ross? So Stephen Ross buys the team and does all kinds of stupid-ass shit. Orange carpets and extending Philbin on a stupid game that was meaningless against Minnesota, keeping Sperano around, who was celebrating field goals. I mean, just, the Adam Gase stuff, the Ndamukong Suh, celebrating Tebow and the Gators. I mean, dude, he did everything you can possibly do that was wrong as a Dolphins owner. Okay? I mean, every possible thing that you can do to screw things up. Why? Because he doesn't know what he's doing yet. He's trying to figure it all out. Right? And so now it's taken him several years. But he finally, it looks like he gave the job to the right person, a football guy in Chris Greer, who looks like he found the best head coach we've had since Don Shula. Okay? Yeah, seriously, I think I think this guy's better than Jimmy, because he can balance both sides of the damn ball. And so, we talk about, okay, now, everything he's done with the stadium. He saved the tennis facility, the tennis tournament. He built a new training center. I mean, he's a great owner. Believe it or not, Stephen Ross is a great owner. It took him a while to figure it out. Viola Sifu. They buy the Panthers. They hire Dale Talon. Okay? Which, good move. I mean, well, they keep Dale Talon around because they inherited him. And Dale Talon made a couple of early picks in his career because they were top 5 picks. And he hit on a couple guys, obviously, Ekblad and Barkov and Huberto, so he hit on some guys, right? But they still couldn't get over the top because we kept thinking that Talon, what he did in Chicago, he was going to transfer over, and it didn't happen. And so they kept falling short. And finally, the owners woke up and said, hey, we gotta make the tough decision. But Dale Talon was great, but he hasn't been great for us. We got to move from him. So they finally got rid of Dale Talon. They bring in Bill Zito, and Bill has completely tweaked the roster, changed the culture. They're not a wussy ass team anymore. They don't get pushed around anymore. They do some of the pushing and they do some of the hitting now. They're a physical team now. They're a fearless team now. And you saw it, how it changed this year. And I think now you're going to see some progression. Here's Jorge Mas. He's in his second year. And he brought in Paul McDonough, who I and everybody else thought, hey, man, he did a great job with Orlando, building him up. And then obviously what he did with Atlanta was impressive. But he came here and he was a disaster. A disaster. And Inter has buried itself early on. Why? Because McDonough had 5 DPs when you had a limit of 3. They got the biggest fine in MLS history. Now they are, $2.5 million short in the cap every year now, and that's a lot of money in the MLS in order to acquire players. They gave, they can say whatever they want about Pizarro. Pizarro's not a DP. Nowhere in this league is he a DP. It's a terrible signing. I don't work for the team anymore. I can say it. It's a terrible signing. The guy is not a DP, so now he's taking a DP spot, and he's making millions. So they're probably going to either have to cut him outright or find some team that will take him, and they're going to have to still chew up some of that salary because nobody's going to take that salary. If they're going to bring in another DP in his place, they could because Moss will spend the money. And then what was McDonough drafts Robbie Robinson, who I still think can be a good player, but Daryl DK is a monster. Orlando gets him at number 5. How Miami passes him up at number 1 and how the other 3 teams at 2, 3, and 4 did it, screwed up. So Daryl DK would have changed the entire culture of Inter Miami. You would have had an immediate young star that you can build on. He goes to Orlando, ships him off to Barnsley. He kicks ass. He has 9 goals in 19 games, and now he comes back here. And then what else do? They sign Matuidi. Matuidi's an 11th man. He's not a DP. Terrible signing. So my point is, Moss has got to learn how to run the soccer team. Ross has got to learn how to run the football team. Viola and Sifu have got to learn how to run their hockey team. They're all new to this. They all made their mistakes. But Stephen Ross looks like he finally figured it out. Looks to me like Sifu and Viola finally got their right combination. And now Moss is trying to figure it out, and he will. He will. He'll figure it out, dude. He will. He'll build a winner. Okay? He is driven. But right now, they've buried themselves. With the limited rules that they have and all that stuff, they've made mistakes, just like Stephen Ross did, just like Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu did at the start of their. So there's no difference here when it comes to all these owners. It's all new to all of them. Sifu and Viola never owned a hockey team. Stephen Ross never owned a football team. Jorge Mas never owned a soccer team. So you have to expect them to make mistakes. And you have to expect them that you would like for everything to go great right from the get-go, but that's just not the reality, man. Unfortunately, it's not. And that's just, the real crux of everything going on with ownership. So I would tell you, if I think if Sifu and Viola have a chance at a top player, they'll get him. They'll get him. They'll find a way. Just like Moss and just like Ross. That's the good thing about those three groups. They're going to spend, man, and they're going to figure it out, and they'll get it done. Eventually, they'll get it done. Will there be bumps along the way? Any of you started a new business? You start a new business, you're going to learn about stuff, you're going to make mistakes, all those kind of things, If I'm going to keep Onside alive, I got to make sure that the stuff that went on here in this last stop cannot happen again. I got to make sure that there's the right things in place in order for us to succeed. If we can't provide them, then I'm not doing it. That's just the bottom line. I'm not going to go running my head into the wall over and over again. I told you guys this a couple of days ago. I got 5 stents in my heart. I'm not going through that stress anymore. I'm done. I am done. I don't have stress here when I do this. When I do this, we were just fine with this thing, man. I'm telling you, the pandemic really, if there was no pandemic, I would have never tried Onside or anything else because the podcast would have blown up. Because we were well on our way, doing really, really well, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And when things are new, you live and learn, my friends. And right now, That's what Jorge Mas is going through, living and learning how to run an organization, how to build a winner. And that's what Stephen Ross has gone through. And that's what Viola and Sifu have gone through. But long story short there, if they got a shot, if Viola and Sifu can get a great player, if there's an opportunity, they'll make it happen. They'll make it happen. That's what I love about having Viola, Mas, and Ross in place. They're going to be great owners. Because they're willing to do anything it takes to win. And if they make a mistake, they're not going to just give up like that. The beauty of Mas, the beauty of Viola and Sifu, and the beauty of Ross is that they're not a bitch like Loria. All right? Like that sorry mofo that he goes and spends when he gets the new stadium and they have a bad month and he starts to sell out the entire team like the punk-ass bitch that he is. That's not what you're going to get ever from those guys. That's the beauty. Are they going to be perfect? Of course not. Of course not, because that's what happens with new ownership. A lot of times it's just not easy, man. You know, Mickey Harrison is the only one that freaking nailed it, bro. He went and got Pat Riley, and the rest is history. You know, it's freaking awesome. I wish it could be like that for Ross. That the second he bought it, he would have, got rid of Parcells' sorry ass right from the get-go and everybody else, and put the right person in place, and the rest is history. Hey, Joe Robbie, right? At first he was with Wilson, and then he figured it out and made the trade for Shula, and the rest is history. That's the way it goes, man. You just got to be patient with some of this stuff. What are your opinions on the Lionel Messi contract with Barcelona for 4 years, a total of 2 years, Barcelona, 2 years in the MLS? It's going to be a great draw. It's going to be a lot of fun, if it's true, if it happens. Steve says, sorry to hear onside is no more. Any chance it could be resurrected? Yes, it can be, but I have to get the right partner. If I don't get the right partner that can provide the right resources, I can't do it. And I won't do it. You know what I mean? I just won't do it. I don't need the headaches, man. I just don't need the headaches. So we just got to get it right. And if we get it right, then we'll do it. The Heat were banking that Tyler Hero would mature and improve his game, but the fame and the glam and the fine-ass model completely consumed the kid's mind. Have you seen that woman? You're 20 years old. You get a little fame. You get a shapely woman like that. I got to tell you, I'd lose my mind too. I got to be completely honest here. I'd lose my freaking mind. Okay? Young and, what can I tell you, bro? Let's see. Wow, Big O. Let's not crown Flores just yet as the best coach in Shula. A Super Bowl win will put him on that status. Why? Who won a Super Bowl since Shula, Jeffrey? What are you talking about, bro? What's so good about what Jimmy Johnson did? I'm missing your point here. I think Flores is better than Jimmy Johnson. I've already been more impressed with Flores' work in his first 2 years than anything Jimmy Johnson did. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I didn't say he was better than Shula or as good as Shula. I said he's the best coach we've had here since Shula. Okay? Listen to me. Never compared him to Shula. Never said anything with Shula. I said since Shula. Huge difference. But that's my opinion. Some of you out there, you may have Adam Gase in front of Brian Flores. I can't tell you. Maybe some of you love field goals and you want Tony Sperano in front of Brian Flores. And maybe you want Jimmy Johnson in front of Flores. That's fine if you want it. I'll take Flores over everything I've seen here since Don Shula. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. I'm more impressed with him than anybody we have seen since Don Shula. And I'm sticking to that. I really am. I really like this guy a lot. I like the way he handles everything, man. Players, media, winning, losing. I just, is he going to be perfect? Of course not. Nobody's perfect. But I love what this guy is all about, man. I'm with you. Ian from Brooklyn, young, dumb, and full of... Exactly. I was thinking about it, too. I just didn't want to say it. Point Break. I love it. Milton says, Matuidi and Pizarro were horrendous signings. Anybody that knows football would have told you this. Wasted millions and still playing for it in the long run. Yeah, no, those are terrible signings. Terrible. He was just Paul McDonough, just royally screwed up. Royally screwed up. He set the team back a couple years. This is gonna set them back for a couple years. Yeah, and the Matuidi thing becomes a real pain in the ass because he's Beckham's friend. So all of a sudden you have to, and everything, all the hell you went through after the investigation, everything, you're not going to be able to get rid of him right away because that would send a terrible sign, a terrible message to other players. So they're stuck with Matuidi probably another year or two. Yeah, it's really bad, really bad. But again, young owners, man. You're gonna make mistakes. Stephen Ross made them. Viola and Sifu have made them, and Moss is no different. Nobody's immune to that kind of stuff. To be a great business owner, you must learn from your mistakes. I'm on my second business, and I couldn't be happier from what I learned from my first. I'm still learning. Exactly. I'm with you, Call of Duty. Great to see you live, Big O. That's what R. Rod says. Thank you, sir. It's great to be live and be alive. Hello, Big O. Up on the crypto correction, Stellar. Oh, I loaded up a little more on Stellar. Yeah, and I got some chilies. Chilies got added to Coinbase because in order for me to get more chilies, I have to transfer money over to Gate.io, transfer coin. Like you have to, because Gate.io is a Canadian company, but it's the best exchange because it has not the best exchange, it's the exchange with the most variety of coins. It's got like 1,000 coins. So it's got almost any coin you're looking for. And you can't find chilies on crypto, on Coinbase, on Binance. You can't find those. So you gotta go to different places and Gate.io. But in Gate.io, I would have to transfer, some whatever, Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever, and then convert it to cash or fiat money, as we say. But you lose gas fee. They charge you for the transfer. So now with Coinbase, at least I only pay the percentage that you pay on Coinbase. So I got me some chilies yesterday, and I think it even went down a penny. So it's even a better deal right now, if I'm correct. Yeah, chilies. Oh, it went down to 29 cents. Take advantage. When I bought it at Gate.io for 24 cents. I got a really good deal. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chili's was at 89 cents March 12th, okay? And on, April 16th, it was 77 cents. So it's at 29. Think about it. It's going to bounce back, and it's going to double. So I like Chili's. So yes, I have loaded up on Stellar, and I like a little Chili's too because they just added it to Coinbase. So that's a good move. What else do we have here? Shula is the GOAT. Yes, you are correct, sir. Cam Cameron drafted a guy that is still in the league. GOAT. Comprehension is more and more alien nowadays. Amen to that. Regrettably, Wannstedt's Miami record was almost as good as JJ's. Flores could go 9-7 for the next 5 years and be second best coach in Dolphin history. Yeah, no, I mean, Flores he's awesome, dude. What's the best crypto app? For me, Crypto.com is the best. It's the best crypto app out there. Okay, Crypto.com is awesome. I can post a link if you want on my Twitter page. I'll do it so you can get $25 off. You can, let me see here. Let me get the the link. I'm going to post it there on my Twitter page at Big O Show. And that way you could get $25. But I would go to crypto.com. Why? Let me tell you why here. Here, I posted it already. Let me tell you why. Crypto.com, you can stake a ton of coins. And staking, like let's say you go and buy $1,000 of Ethereum, okay? You then stake it, and I believe you get 4% on it, if I'm correct. Let me look. I'm pretty sure you'll get about 4% on it. Where are we at here? Oh, no, wrong one. Sorry, I hit the wrong button here, and I gotta wait. Okay, here we go. Now I'll tell you now. Hold on a second. So crypto.com, one, it's got a Visa card, which, by the way, the link I sent you can sign up for the Visa card. It's free. But you can stake crypto.com. You can stake Stellar, Shiba, Decentraland, VeChain, Uniswap, Bancor, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Binance Chain, Engine Coin. It's all kinds, man. And so you can get 5.5% on your Ethereum. Okay? That's how cool it is. So not only do you invest 1,000 in Ethereum, which should blow up to 7,000 easily by the end of the year, and it's at 2,500 right now. So you're going to almost triple your money, that $1,000. Meanwhile, you're also staking it and earning 5.5%. You see? So your crypto's working two ways. It's going up in value, and as it goes up in value, you're earning more interest on it. You're going to get 5.5% from your savings account? No. So if you want, you then also, if you got Bitcoin, you can stash it for 3 months, and you can get 4.5%. So you're, again, earning different ways. And it's got all kinds of coins. The Visa's free, but you could get different levels Visas. I got the Ruby Red card. And let me tell you something. There's all kinds of great things that go with the card. And you can use your money through there. Okay? So for me, crypto is the best. It's got a great selection of coins, a much better selection than Coinbase, and I think better selection than Binance, I'm pretty sure. So for me, crypto.com is the best app. I just posted a link for you on my Twitter page at Big O Show that you could get $25 if you sign up for their free Visa card and get an account. And the Visa card, again, it's you control whatever you want to spend on it. So it's really cool. I'm telling you, go check it out, crypto.com, and it's also a bank. So that's why I buy the Crow from them, because Crow is going to grow, and Crow I'm going to use as money. That's going to be stuff that I'm going to use as money down the line. And there's all kinds of other features and discounts you can get. Depending on the card you get, you could get free Netflix and free iTunes and all kinds of different stuff. Check it out. You'll see the different levels of cards, and then you can stake your Crow. And so you're getting interest while your crypto is also gaining in value. There you go. That's my crypto moment for you guys today on the show. Why so much hate from the national media on Tua? It seems so many want the nice kid to fail. Why? Brooklyn Rob, I talked about that yesterday, and I talked about the Tua hate, and I don't get any of it, but I do have the solution for it. So listen to it yesterday on the podcast that I gave you the ultimate thing that Dolphin fans, I think Dolphin fans need to embrace the hate of others. That's all. So I explain it all there, why you should embrace the hate on that podcast yesterday. So check it out. And I know I know Rob is Brooklyn Rob is in the middle of talking to me and then probably buying more Stellar. I don't know how Stellar is that cheap. I tweeted that out yesterday. Like, I bought more Stellar myself. It's a steal. It's gonna almost, you're almost gonna triple your money in a couple months, whatever you put into Stellar. I believe. Not a financial advisor, okay? Just a dude that loves crypto and follows it. He says, "LOL, you know it, Stellar, bro." That's right. King Short says, Sir Paul still rocking. Are you talking about Paul Stanley? Who are we talking about here? What Paul are we talking about, King Short? I don't know. Is that another conversation you guys got going on? By the way, smash the like button. All right. We hit over 200 yesterday. All right. Let's beat yesterday's record. Let's see if we can get to 250, because that is so important, man. It is incredibly important to subscribe. It's incredibly important to smash that like button, get the algorithms going so other people, they get to see the show. It comes up on their search engines if they're looking for, Miami and Dolphins and Heat and, Panthers, Marlins, Inter, all that good stuff. It's just like the hate for the Heatles. I loved it. Yeah, exactly. That's I talked all about it yesterday, and I think it's something that we all should actually kind of feed on a little bit. Man, I've done an hour and 7 minutes already. Holy crap. It's a long time. Anyway, what else? What else was I going to say? Got to talk a little bit about the Dolphins. We talked a little bit about the wrap-up of minicamp. So now they leave Davie. So it's all done in Davie. They no longer... And I got to tell you, for a West Kendall guy, now I only have to drive to the stadium to go to training camp. That might be a hell of a lot better for me than going all the way to Davie. I'm telling you, it's a much shorter drive for me to do that. I love that, man. So we go from St. Andrew's School in the 60s to St. Thomas University, because I went a lot to St. Thomas back in the day. They were in the 60s over in St. Andrews. They were from 70 to 93 in St. Thomas. And then from 93 to 2021, they were at Nova. And I remember going from St. Thomas to Nova was like night and day, dude. I mean, and it's crazy because that was the beginning of my career. I got in the business in 91. So they were still in St. Thomas. And I had already, I'd gone for years to, see practice in St. Thomas, when I was a younger guy and all that good stuff. But right at the beginning of my radio career, we were right at the back end of the St. Thomas stuff. And then when they moved to Davie, it was like, the players felt they were like a kid in the candy store. And those of us in the media felt like, wow, this is pretty freaking amazing compared to the crap that they've been practicing in for many, many years. So now they go to the new facility, which I'm sure a lot of you saw the videos, and they were pretty cool. They even have the slide, which I thought that was kind of funny. And watching Stephen Ross on it, you have to admit you were a little nervous for him, right? Because Stephen Ross is pushing 80 years old, dude. And he's on that slide, and the good thing is he slid off and landed on a mat. The one thing I was worried is if it had too much zoom, he zooms past it and he hits the back of his head on the damn slide. I was thinking those kind of things, like the father in me, because I'm thinking of my child doing it, comes out, and I was like watching that. But anyway, it looks like it's an amazing facility. Great job by Stephen Ross. But it's funny to see the developments of all of this. But I want to say something while we talk about this change of moving from Davie over to Miami Gardens on a permanent basis. I want you to remember two words, okay? 2 words. And whether you're young, whether you're middle-aged, or you're old, I want you, and I'm kind of getting already goosebumps about talk about this, I want you to remember 2 words. Joe freaking Robbie. I know it's 3, but it's Joe Robbie. Okay? I want you to remember Joe Robbie. Because as a guy that is born and raised in this town, born in the northwest corner of Palm Beach County in Belglade, raised in Little Havana and Hialeah and West Kendall, okay, as a true blue South Florida fan, I never want you to forget Joe Robbie. Because Joe Robbie gave us the Dolphins. Joe Robbie gave us the Strikers, okay? And then Joe Robbie gave us the greatest coach in the history of football in South Florida, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NFL itself. And him and Riley are, you know, they're in a stratosphere all by themselves in the sports world here in South Florida. But Joe Robbie also had the balls that he couldn't get what he needed to upgrade the Orange Bowl, and he ends up moving on his own to that stadium. And by moving to that stadium, okay, I don't want you to forget this, we got a baseball team. Because he configured that stadium, he had the foresight that he wanted that stadium to be multi-purpose, where he can do football, where he can do soccer, and where he can do baseball. And because of that Orioles game, Yankees-Orioles was it, I believe, that we brought here, and then that gave us the Marlins, okay? I don't ever want you to forget Joe Robbie, because Joe Robbie purchasing that piece of land, who, by the way, you know, his family unfortunately could not really enjoy because they were, you know, in debt and all that stuff, and it's a shame how everything turned out. But because of Joe Robbie, we got the new stadium, we got a baseball team out of that, then Wayne Huizenga took over, and now Stephen Ross took over. But on that same property, you've been able to house and save the tennis tournament. On that same property now, you've been able to put the training facility now there in its place. I just want you to remember that without Joe Robbie, a lot of stuff doesn't happen in this town. We may never have gotten baseball in this town. Okay? We may never have gotten baseball because there was no way of testing it out because we didn't have a stadium for it. And so that move by Joe Robbie years ago to take the team up north, which was depressing for all of us because none of us wanted to see the Dolphins leave the Orange Bowl, just like we didn't want to see the Canes leave the Orange Bowl. But again, the city of Miami knows how to screw everything up, and, you know, it is what it is. But because Joe Robbie made that move, which, by the way, was a detriment to his family and everything else, because the team didn't stay in the Robbie family, which sucks. And I'll tell you, and I was working with Tim Robbie for a little bit at Inter before he left the team. So anyway, make sure you remember and never forget that Joe Robbie brought a ton to us, okay? And there were times that we complained that he was cheap and he, you know, all this kind of stuff. But what that man meant to us here in South Florida and the foundation he set has allowed us to enjoy that facility for many more things than we ever thought was only going to be Dolphin football. Because, you know, as I'm talking about Miguel Cabrera and all those other things, we had some pretty special moments in that stadium. And if you like international soccer, you know, Stephen Ross has been incredibly, in fact, from, you know, in the spirit of the Robbie family, who was incredibly dedicated to soccer, you know, I give Stephen Ross a lot of credit too. I know he's a businessman. I know he wants to make money and all of that, but he's done a really good job, he and Tom Garfinkel, of bringing a lot of great international soccer tournaments there. And by the way, the concerts and everything else that I've enjoyed, you know, whether it's If you like Rolling Loud, if you like Jazz in the Gardens, if you like the Rolling Stones, I mean, there's so many things that we've been able to enjoy at that stadium. You know what I mean? So in a time that we're talking about switching practice facilities and they're moving it to that stadium, remember the guy that set the foundation in place. And the reason why a lot of us sports fans have been able to enjoy a lot of great moments, not just sports fans, but music fans like myself, because I've been able to go there for a lot of great concerts. U2, I've seen there a couple times, amazing shows, just so many things that I've been able to enjoy at that stadium. Isn't Formula One coming to that stadium now, right? I believe. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. It's the gift that doesn't stop giving. Thanks. Okay? And thank you, Joe Robbie. Thank you, sir, for everything that you've provided. So I just wanted to mention that because I think that Robbie just doesn't get enough love for what he did. All right. Remember, you can reach out to us on YouTube. If you want to send in any questions, you can do that. You can also send it in a little super chat action too to support the show. Appreciate that as always. Those of you out there, Twitter is another way to reach out to the show at Big O Show. That's the way that you can also talk to us and ask anything that you want. Greg Wood says, there is never really talked about, but the first year of the rebuild, a lot of youngsters got playing time, which really helped build the depth of this current Miami team. I agree, Greg. And you also help to build a foundation. Call of Duty 1 says, I just bought some chilies. Nice job by you. There you go. James Henry says, finally someone knows Dolphins football. The other talk shows are liars. Well, I don't know about that, but James, thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I don't know who you're taking a shot at, but I appreciate it, my friend. Ray says, sharp new Dolphin complex. Ross did a great job. Top-notch facility. I saw the video. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Rosendo says it was called Biscayne College, where the Dolphins were St. Thomas alumni. Yeah, exactly. Ross figured it out. He is one of the best owners in the NFL, paid for the stadium expansion, new practice facility, not holding the city or the county hostage to pay for it. Yep. Rosendo says, no Robbie, no Dolphins. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Now they're back in Miami. Hopefully it returns back to glory. Never know. Karma can finally be cleansed. Well, they're not in Miami. They're in Miami Gardens. All right? They're not in Miami. They're in Miami Gardens. They have yet to win anything there. Now, there is no curse. Okay? There is no curse on that stadium because the Marlins have won two World Series titles there. So there is no curse. Okay? It's just either you manage it well or you don't. And unfortunately, it's been poorly managed for many years now. Now is when it's actually being managed the right way. And now is when I think we're going to get the results that we all wanted. We want to see a title. I'm sure it'll happen. Thank God we don't have to share the stadium with the Marlins anymore. That dirt sucked for the Dolphins. Yeah, I'm with you there. Adam says soccer, Marlins, plenty of national championships, and Super Bowl as well. Yep. NorCal says Joe Robbie is legend. Yep. I just want to make sure because I know nobody's going to talk about Joe Robbie, in all of this. And as time goes on, people will forget, and young people, they don't even know the man anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I just, on a day like today that everybody's talking about the switch, I just want to I just want to remind people who's the dude that sacrificed the most and the man that really set the foundation for us to enjoy a lot of things, man, from that property and how that property itself that Ross and especially Tom Garfinkel have done a magnificent job of making it grow and adding so many things to it. It's been a really, really nice process of growth for that area, man. So I just love everything that they've done. I just felt like you gotta give Joe Robbie his love and his due because he deserves it in a big-time way. Reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Wanted to say something also because the other day I told you guys Barry Jackson reached out to me on DM and asked me about the whole onside stuff. And I told him exactly what, I sent him, which I posted it on social media. And, Barry says, I'm working on a story in a couple weeks. And I was like, wow, well, why would you want to write about this in a couple weeks? It doesn't mean anything in a couple weeks. But today he actually posted a story, and I want to give him some credit, at least. I got to give him some love, because at least he, because he's written stories in the past where he didn't really have the right information because he doesn't really know what went on behind the scenes and how terrible it is for so many of us in this business. And I was glad that he, brought up everybody from Dono and Greg Likens to Beast to Josh Friedman to Captain Curtis and, all the different people that, obviously radio has completely changed. There's barely any local radio on anymore. There's only a couple of shows left, right? I think he mentioned in the article that Amber is leaving too. And, I don't blame her. I'm sure she's had enough of this business already at this point. It's really a terrible business. It really is. And there are so many people that want to be a part or are part of the business, and they're in the management area where it's just, or the ownership area, and they just don't really know what they're doing, and they don't provide what you need in order to succeed. That's why the podcasts, that's why these kind of platforms have grown so much. And, I'm blessed that I'm able to do this. And hopefully now we can, bring back sponsors and maybe make a living out of this so I can continue to do what I love. And listen, we've talked about this already. Because of my voice, I ended up having to cut this to keep Onside going, because that was obviously my priority. And there were a lot of people also, depending on it. And so obviously I did the decent thing in doing that, but it hurt me to stop this. And since I've restarted it the last couple of days, I've grown to appreciate it even more, what we've built here and how we've connected, every single day here on the show. So I want to give Barry a lot of love for that article, because he did a good job of at least, shedding light on, a lot of good people that don't deserve to be out of work. And they are out of work, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if, some of them can, do this kind of stuff, but this is the future. This is what it is nowadays, because radio is dying. Standard radio and standard television are dying because you don't listen to those things anymore. You listen to it on demand now, is what you do more often than not. Whether you get home in Netflix, whether you get in your car with iTunes, whatever it is, or Spotify, or you name it, whatever it is for your music service. Maybe you use satellite radio, some folks. But local radio, that thing's dying. Less and less people are listening to it. That's why Clear Channel, what's it called? The Intercom is trying to stay away from the name radio, and they want to be called the digital company and all of that. I don't know what these stations are going to do, because all those antennas and those buildings and all of that's a waste of money nowadays, because you don't need a radio signal anymore. Everybody's got a smart car and a smartphone pretty much at this point. So that's where it's all changed. And radio's kind of found out the hard way. You know what I mean? I've told the story before. At QAM, I knew I was getting fired for 11 months. For 11 months, I knew that I was going to get fired. When I knew that they weren't going to help me, they weren't going to give me a producer, they weren't going to do anything. They didn't want to spend any money on the show, yet we were bringing in a ton of money. I knew that they were going to let me go. And so I was already preparing, and the day that they finally let me go, I was like smiling, and I was thankful. I literally thanked Len for firing me. I literally said, thank you very much. I was waiting for this day. I can now move forward. And then I went into my podcast, and we had a great year where we had over 2 million downloads in our podcast in our first full year. So if you could do it on your own, then you're able to, sell it on its own and all of that. And that's probably where a lot of us are headed. If you could do it on your own, you're probably better off. You know what I mean? It's great when you have people that can support you and bring it. But I do want to give Barry a little love for, in a way, at least telling the story that others can't about a terrible, terrible, terrible business. One that I would never suggest any of you get in, ever. Do not get into radio. How are you doing, Big O? Do you think Stephen Ross would go back to the retro jersey full time? Do we get this question every day? Yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It'll take a couple of years here, but it's going to happen. Here's my prediction: by 2025, you'll have the new logo back with a twist. I'm sure, with some kind of modern day twist to it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to get it back, and it's a nice way of them to rebrand again and make more money. It was good article by Barry, and oh, by the way, I gave you big props on my retweet to him. That's what Ray says. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Ray. Appreciate you, my man. Yep, you have to. You have idiot networks canceling good shows because the live viewership is down and the on-demand numbers are up. Yep. Rob says, wow, Beast, Friedman, Captain Curtis, Likens, so much great talent, got the short end of the stick. Damn shame. It's the business, dude. It's the business. It's the business. It's the business. But what are you going to do? You got to fight through it, man. You got to fight through it. You have no choice. So thank you, Barry. Good job by you on that article. I'll give you credit. I thought when I gave him my quote, he was like, okay, yeah, I'll write a story in a couple weeks. I'm like, well, I guess I didn't give him anything juicy, so he didn't want anything that I told. But he actually then ended up using some of my quotes. So I give him credit. I didn't think that I thought he was just looking for the negative stuff on it from me. But hey, listen. When you're right, you're right, and when you deserve it, you deserve it. And Barry, you deserve some love for that article. Good job on it. Marlins, by the way, back in action tonight against the Cubs. 8:05, Lopez versus Davies. Boys are struggling big time. We'll see if they can get back on track this weekend against the Cubs in Chicago. Man, that place is, wow. You cringe, right? Every day there's, I know we have shootings down here, but what goes on in Chicago is absolutely out of control, man. Wow. And there's no way of them stopping it, huh? It's just really nuts what's going on there. Bucks defeat the Nets last night, 104-89. So they tied it up at 3 apiece. Giannis had 30 and 17, Middleton 38, and Drew Holiday had 21. Harden played 40 minutes on that bad hammy. Now, he was much more productive. He had 16 points. So I'll give him that. He was 3 of 6 from three-point range. He had 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. Playing defense and everything, man. So we got it tied at 3. Tonight, the 76ers are at the Hawks. Atlanta's leading 3-2, 7:30, and then at 10 o'clock, some of us that will stay up will watch the Jazz and the Clippers, and the Clip Joint are leading 3-2 also in that one. So looking forward to that game tonight. See if the Jazz can even up this series, because I'll tell you, Donovan Mitchell stunk it up the other night, and Donovan Mitchell can't be doing that. They need him to be an absolute stud. And he was not a stud the other night. So that was bad news for them. We'll see if they end up bouncing back. Remember to smash that like button. Smash it, baby. Very important that you smash the like button and give us that support. That helps out the algorithm and spreading out the show to different folks. You got any questions, you can send them in on the YouTube chat board. You can send them in on the Super Chat. Many different ways to connect to the show. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, for connecting with us. Let me see, what else do we have here on it? Okay, what else? I was in Chicago and got lost in the local streets. My wife was scared the whole time because of its reputation. Yeah, I know. I get you. I get you, man. George Theobald says, good to see you again, brother. Peace, love, and good health. The Curtis Painter family. George had that running joke with me for, I don't know, about 2 years with the Curtis Painter thing. Eric EJD is in the house. I like it. Let's see. The St. Louis series was very disappointing. Marlins should have at least won 2 of those games against them. Yeah. Unfortunately, they ended up getting the short end, bullpen, and other things that just didn't work out for them. I'm with you there, man. But they're just not experienced enough, talented enough, and good enough right now. And so they need to get the experience first from some of those young guys. And I think that's what this is. This is another one of those developmental years. I think next year is where you get to the point where you got to start spending a little money now to complement the guys you have, and you got to start trying to be a little bit more competitive to the point that you're actually challenging for some kind of a playoff spot, because you just can't keep going on the rebuild mode for 10 years. You got to start adding some pieces to kind of help out the guys you do have already. So we'll see if they end up doing that. It would be really, really nice if they actually can. Did you guys see that the Bucks are sold out already for the 2021 season? No Buccaneers tickets are left. They are absolutely full, which obviously they got a nice buzz going on because of everything, with the Super Bowl and all of that stuff. But it says this momentous achievement for the organization, our fans, said Brian Ford, the chief operating officer. We have worked closely with the Tampa Bay Sports Authority to welcome back the best fans in the NFL. They're in Miami, not in Tampa, but whatever. And we are excited to play in a completely full Raymond James Stadium this upcoming season. To have the entire season sold out before we even reach training camp is a testament to our passionate and loyal fan base. It's pretty cool. Will we get there? Huh? If Tua and the Dolphins, okay? Because this is something that I wanted to talk about. Is, we look at this and we see what they did. Now, I want to remind you, when Tampa had Rich McKay and company and Tony Dungy, and they had all those players, Trent Dilfer with Warwick Dunn and Warren Sapp and John Lynch and, all those guys. You remember that team. I don't need to start going through all the damn names. But that team obviously was Derek Brooks and all those guys. It was a hell of a team, okay? So then they had a buzz. And they had over 20,000 people on a waiting list. After they won the Super Bowl with John Gruden, a year or two later, that waiting list had disappeared because the buzz had started dying out, because Gruden, his team perpetually got worse after the Super Bowl. It was a great defensive team, and then he added a couple of the right offensive pieces, Brad Johnson and Pittman and Keenan McCardell, and all. He had a couple of pieces that you needed, and the offensive tackle, I forgot the guy's name that they brought in, but all those guys really helped them out in winning the title. And then after that, it just got progressively worse. The defense got older, guys left in free agency, whatever it was, and so the buzz died out, and so did that waiting list, and so did sellouts, okay? And then it's been like that ever since. Now they're back to winning the Super Bowl, And now they're sold out, and I'm sure they're going to start with a waiting list down the line because Brady's probably going to play at least another year after this. So I'm sure they're probably going to have a waiting list starting next season. Now, I'm not asking about a waiting list. I'm just asking, now that there are 15,000 less seats, and they do get close to sellouts already as it is, or sellouts, period, with a lot of the games, before last season's pandemic year, of course. If Tua is the guy, if Flores is the guy, if Chris Greer is the guy, and they do start winning now, and they get to the point that they become a Super Bowl type contender, do we sell out every game? Does that happen here in South Florida? I actually think it will. I do. If they become a Super Bowl winner and contender, there's no doubt in my mind. I'm not saying the year that leads up to being a Super Bowl contender or winner. I'm saying just like Tampa, after you've won it, or after you've either been to the Super Bowl and you're already like a contender, because we see it with the Heat. I think it does happen here in South Florida. And remember, we got a ton of Dolphin fans that live all over the world. And they come to this stadium and they travel abroad to different stadiums. Not abroad, I mean, yeah, they do travel abroad to England, but I'm saying, anywhere. Tennessee, Oakland, or Las Vegas in this case, New York, Cincinnati, whatever. Wherever this team plays, there's a large contingent of Dolphin fans that show up at all those road games. And I think the road Dolphin fans would be clamoring even more to be in Miami if that kind of stuff happens. I believe that, we're the bandwagon type town. We're the event type town. And it's been a long time since the Dolphins were an event. The Heat has had that, they've had that spotlight forever now. Because the Marlins, they're never an event. They've only been an event 2 years. That's it. 97 and 2003. Outside of that, they've never been an event. And they kind of had to develop into becoming an event that year. And although 97, we already started with a buzz. Because even spring training, they were like 27-5 or something. They had a stupid-ass record in spring training. It was like amazing. And they were loaded. They were a loaded veteran team that right from the get-go, you felt they had World Series aspirations. The 2003 team, that's not the case. But nobody else has really become an event. Not hockey, not baseball, not football. It's been a long time, man. You have to go to the, early Marino years to even consider it like it was an event. So it's, to me, I was watching that story with Tampa selling out, and I was thinking, can we have that here? And I started thinking to myself, yeah, I believe we can have that here. There's no doubt in my mind that we can have that here. So let's hope that they can provide the kind of excitement and winning, and it would be something that I think would be needed in this town in a bad way, because we are like total junkies right now waiting for our football fix. And considering the 10-win season last year and everything going on, I think a terrific offseason. I think this is one of the most anticipated Dolphin seasons in a long, long time. All right. Reach out to us on Twitter, by the way, at Big O Show. As always, we appreciate you all out there reaching out to us. Remember, you can reach out also on the YouTube chat board. And, of course, a little super chat action is always there. Big O, do you think Jacoby Brissett could do a capable job if called upon? Richard, he can try to keep the boat afloat. He's not winning anything. You're not winning anything, okay? If that's what your answer is. You're a playoff contender with Tua. You're not a playoff contender with Jacoby Brissett. Let's just be clear, okay? Most backup quarterbacks are not going to end up, winning a title. I get it. Once in a while, the Jeff Hostetler comes out of the world, and the rest is history. I get that. But my man, more often than not, your backup quarterback is not the answer to anything. Okay, he's a stopgap guy to kind of keep you afloat and wait for your guy to get healthy and get back. But he's not ever going to be the answer. So please don't put any kind of expectation on Jacoby Brissett. He's a nice quarterback. He's a nice backup. It's what he is. He's not a starter, and he ain't going to solve anything. So put it this way, if we get to Jacoby Brissett, the season is over. All right? The season is over. That's all. You're not going to do anything. You might win a couple games. You might keep things afloat. Maybe if you're close enough to the playoffs, you sneak into the playoffs because he helps you win a game or two. But in the playoffs, he'll get stomped like a roach. All right? Let's not worry about the backup quarterback being, we need Tua to be the answer. Jacoby Brissett already answered that question throughout his career. He can be serviceable, and that's where it ends. Damn, I am looking for a single game ticket for Dolphins Bucks. Well, you won't be able to find one. You're going to have to, I don't know how it is, you're going to have to pay quite a bit through the secondary market now. Robbie made the correct move, not increasing and guaranteeing Zonka Kick Warfield's salaries 10 times in 75. Robbie opened his wallet to pay for Keith Jackson, one of the first free agents in 92. Yes. Oh, sorry I'm late. Friday is the day I judge women who wear yoga pants. Results are in. Some should, and some also. What son of a motherless goat gave you a downvote? Oh, somebody gave me a downvote? It's all right. Who knows? Might have been my crypto moment. Maybe he just hates me. I don't know. Who knows? So we got that was the funny part. I think yesterday, now that you mentioned it, okay, now that you mentioned that, I want to say yesterday, let me turn down the damn volume. Yesterday we had 219 likes, no dislikes whatsoever. Nobody. That's pretty cool. Now today we have 71 up and 2 down actually now. So 2 people have given us negative. So it's a beautiful thing. You see, a little what's it called? Balance to it all. Oh, I love it. Anyway, appreciate all of you out there as always. What else do we have to talk about? I know we talked a little bit about Zion. What else do we have going on tonight? Oh, I was gonna mention this. I know that those of you that if you follow music like I do, I like talking about sometimes on the show, things that happened today in rock history, and on June 18th. And so I was looking through it today, and there's a bunch of things. First of all, on June 18th, that are pretty cool. In 67, all right, in 67, wait a minute here. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. There we go. So in 67, Jimi Hendrix made his debut performance at the Monterey Pop Festival. It was a show where the rocker first famously lit his guitar on fire. What I would give to see Jimi Hendrix live, man. That would be the one time machine deal I'd like to do for music. That if I can go back in time to see someone, Led Zeppelin would be right there, but it would probably be Jimi Hendrix, man, because for me, he is the god of all gods when it comes to electric guitar. In 2011, E Street saxophonist Clarence Clemens died 6 days after suffering a stroke. I was blessed to see him at the Orange Bowl back in the mid-'80s for the Born in the USA tour. In '94, on this date, the Beastie Boys' fourth album, Ill Communication, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. In '91, Van Halen released their 9th album, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, also known for the first letter of each of those words, which, F-U-C-K. In '77, Fleetwood Mac went to #1 on the singles charts with Dreams, the group's first and only U.S. #1, which is baffling that they only had one #1. They had a ton of hits. Beck released Odelay back in '97, baby. Yeah, she's got the new pollution, right? Yeah. I like that song. It's a good song. In '77 on this date, Johnny Rotten and Paul Cook of the Sex Pistols were beaten and stabbed by patriotic drunks in a parking lot by a London pub. The drunks were angry about the band's song, God Save the Queen. It was a bad week for Cook, who was beaten again the next day by a group of men with iron pipes. That's crazy. I thought that only happened at San Francisco Giants games. Anyway, this is the one, okay? Speaking of San Francisco, in '97 on this date, okay? I now know where I was June 18 of 1997, because I don't remember the day. I just remember the concert. But on June 18th of 1997, I was in Oakland, California. I was just finishing up my stint with Ron Barr, Sports Byline USA. We were doing a nationally syndicated sports talk show in Spanish called Deportes Byline Americas. And I ended up coming back. We had a 9-day trip on the way back home from San Francisco. We drove in my 280 ZX. And we went from Oakland to Los Angeles to the Grand Canyon to San Antonio to Houston to New Orleans to Tampa and home. Okay, we stopped in all those places for different things. We started off in Oakland because we were in San Francisco. That's where I was working for a short time. And the next day after we were leaving, that night before, U2 was playing a gig in Oakland. So it was Oasis supporting U2 in Oakland, California during the Irish Rockers North American tour. And so this is really cool because this is one of my favorite concerts of all time, man. This is Oasis, right at the peak of Champagne Supernova and all that stuff in that moment. And they were opening up for U2 that night at the Oakland Coliseum. I saw the concert that night. The next day we drove down to Los Angeles and hung out there for 2 days. The next night we went to the LA Coliseum, and Rage Against the Machine was the opener for U2. So I saw U2. So now I know that on June 18th of '97, I was in Oakland, California, watching U2 and Oasis. And on the 19th, I was watching U2 and Rage Against the Machine. How about that? At the LA Coliseum. So the Oakland Coliseum and the LA Coliseum, and I get to see those two. It's a beautiful thing, man. That's a blessing right there. So when I saw today's, list of stuff that happened in music today, I was like, I was at that concert. Oasis supporting U2, because it wasn't like, I don't believe Oasis was on a ton of those tour dates, but I was lucky enough, my wife and I were lucky enough to enjoy that one, Oasis and U2 in one concert. That is absolutely badass. Although some of you may want Rage Against the Machine and U2 instead, I would prefer Oasis and U2. What else do we have here? I was at the Oasis U2 concert in Oakland with my ex-wife. That's what NorCal says. Wow. NorCal, I didn't even know you liked U2. I thought you went a little harder than that. I didn't think you went to the U2 area there. Interesting. Okay. Me too. Jimmy's my all-time favorite is what Flipside Fishing says. Time for Finns to unleash the Wildcat again. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. All right. Good stuff as always. Don't forget, continue to smash the hell out of that like button, folks. I want to see if we can get to 250. All right. We went over 100, then we went over 200 yesterday. I'm not going to say 300 because that's a lot, but if we could get to 250, that would be actually really, really cool overall. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about a little bit? Oh, the state of boxing, and I'm not going to go too much into boxing because it's I get it. It's one of those sports that, as much as I love it, it's nothing more than a niche sport now, and it's really a real small niche nowadays. Once in a while, you'll get a big crowd because there'll be a big fight, but I just want to kind of, it's not make a joke of it, but it is ridiculous already at this point. So Vitor Belfort, the MMA fighter, is now going to take on Oscar De La Hoya. Belfort, not only is he going to take on De La Hoya, he's also going to fight against Evander Holyfield, who's 58 years old. So he's going to fight against a 48-year-old Oscar De La Hoya. He's 44. And then Evander, who's 58. He says, I believe this fight with me and Oscar, this is the biggest fight ever. Oscar's legendary gold medal is one of the best pound for pound ever to live in the game. He revolutionary the sport. If it wasn't for Oscar, there would not be no Floyd Mayweather. He makes it sound like boxers started with Oscar De La Hoya. Does Vito know anything about boxing? You ever heard of Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Roberto Duran? I'm wondering, does he know Alexis Arguello? Does he actually even know the sport? Like, does he know that Floyd also that he comes from a family of boxing? I'm reading this and it's like, okay, this is already a joke, and I don't know how many of you are going to pay for this crap. Because I didn't pay for the last garbage that went on. I got lucky that somebody on Twitter had the live feed, and I saw most of the stupid ass fight between the Paul guy and Mayweather. Because, I mean, do you think I have any time or really want to watch Chad Johnson box? So Vitor Belfort is going to fight Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, this is what we've come to. And people are stupid enough to pay for this shit? Seriously? I mean, I don't know. Do you have a life? Wouldn't you rather get laid? Why don't you go to Hialeah Park and go play poker? Go to Hard Rock if you live closer to Hard Rock and play some poker. Why don't you go to a concert or something? Go take a wife, a girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or whoever out dancing a little bit or something. Go play video games. Go do anything but pay to watch a useless fight like Mayweather and Jake Paul. Or Belfort and Oscar De La Hoya. Or Vito and what's it called? Evander Holyfield. Like, who the hell wants to see Evander Holyfield fight at 58? Who the hell pays for this kind of crap? I mean, seriously, you're gonna spend $50. It's like, I was looking at the other day when we had the Bitcoin convention that was here. It was like $1,500 to attend. Seriously. And I'm thinking, Bitcoin's down right now under 40,000. This thing's going to shoot up to 100,000 by the end of the year when it bounces back. Why would you spend $1,500 to go to a convention when you can get all that information online, save the $1,500, and you know what you would do with that $1,500? Go buy Bitcoin. And maybe you'll turn that Bitcoin into $3,000 at the end of the year. Wow, what a concept. So I'm thinking, if you're going to spend $50 on that fight, brother, go buy $50 of Stellar. Go buy $50 of VeChain. Go buy $50 of Ethereum. It's better. You'll get more value out of that. Just why? Why would you want to pay for any of this stuff? And see, here's the problem. Because we've got suckers paying for this crap, they're coming up with more of these garbage fights. That's the worst part about it. That's why they keep coming up with these sorry-ass fights. Because some MMA fans that are Vitor's fans, and then some Oscar De La Hoya fans, and they all want to reminisce, so they figure they'll get enough suckers to buy that fight. And then Evander Holyfield, the poor man, sounds like he's so punch drunk that now you're going to put him out there, and he's going to put himself out at more risk, that at 58 years old, he's going to take some headshots from this guy. And then I love how Vitor comes out like saying this will be the biggest fight ever. No, dude, this is the biggest turd ever. Who the hell wants to watch this garbage? Seriously, I have better things to do. I'd rather go on YouTube and watch some old concerts of different bands than ever spend one penny watching that garbage right there. 19-year-old Vitor Belfort had the most explosive punches in MMA history. 4 years later, off the juice, he was just a guy. Did Ocho Cinco get KO? Yeah, he did. It was a TKO. He got put on his ass, but he got back up again right away. But he did get put on his ass. I mean, dude, he was fighting against somebody that actually boxes. So, whatever. Exactly. Can't blame the promoters when fools will pay to see fights like this. A sucker is born every minute, and clearly we got a lot of suckers. Either that, or there's just a lot of people that are willing to throw away their money, and they just don't care. Terrestrial radio will have place for 60-plus demographics for next 15 years with political show sponsors by pharma and oldies music, then will disappear along with its demographic. David, I never thought of that, but dude, that makes a lot of sense. Like a ton of sense. Because the older people aren't digital. And so there's like a lot of people, I'm 54, there's a lot of people my age that aren't tech savvy. But the people that are older than me, that are in their 60s and 70s, amen to that. David, that's a really, really good statement right there. That makes a lot of sense that will happen. More talk driven, because that's what older people like. Oldies type driven formats. Whether it's music or stuff like that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, dude. That makes a ton of sense because young people aren't listening to radio. I don't listen to radio that much anymore myself. I certainly don't listen to music stations. The only one that you'll catch me listening to once in a blue moon will be the Gator. That's it. Don't really listen to much at all. And it's barely that. I listen more, to be honest with you, to my iTunes and all kinds of stuff like that. I'd rather podcasting. That's usually what I do when I'm in the car nowadays. That's, for me, is much more entertaining at this point because you don't want to sit there through the 6-minute breaks. So I get it. I completely get it. But David, that was good, dude. That was really, really good. I like that. That makes a ton of sense. Music stations play junk. I don't get any new retro wave on radio. No, you've gotta go to iTunes to get that, or maybe you might get some of it on satellite radio on a certain channel. Something like that. That's how it is. Because obviously, as you know, satellite, all the music channels are broken up into the genres that they belong to. So you might get that on satellite, but you'll definitely get that on iTunes. You know, iTunes is awesome because iTunes has any song you want, any album you want, or any kind of style of genre or decade or specific year or whatever. You know, you can go to 1981 of metal and 1981 of new wave and 1995 of rap and 1995 of rock and 2001 metal, and you'll get exactly what it is in those years of that genre. And then you could just listen to whatever you love. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I'm with you there. Oh, has anything new been added to your home broadcast booth? No, I have not. I've got a couple things. Because I don't have the whole picture in yet, hopefully next week, if I'm hoping that I fix everything today, actually. Tonight I'm hoping that everything's fixed. You might able to see the whole thing tomorrow, actually, because we're going to do a special show tomorrow. Bill's going to come by and going to sit in with me tomorrow, so we'll have some fun, and we'll bring a little retro back, and we'll bring Bill back onto the program. So yeah, but nothing has been added yet. I have a couple things. Since it's not, you can't see it, you can only see a couple things here. I just left that kind of stuff on. That's it. But what can I tell you? But I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you that have sent me presents over the last 2 years to help dress things up. And I listen, anything that you do to help this show, visit our sponsors, hit the like button, follow, subscribe, super chatting, however it is that you support our show, we appreciate it immensely. We can't say enough about it. By the way, I do want to say one thing to Cole Beasley. Cole, you are a freaking idiot, and you need to just maybe, I don't know, get an IQ or something. Is that what it is? Because Cole Beasley now just put out, because they want the players to be vaccinated, but if you're not vaccinated, then you're gonna go through some extra stuff in order to be taking part of things, and you're held by different rules. So he goes, the Players Association is a joke, calling it something different. By the way, okay, here we go. He says the Players Association is a joke, calling it something different. It's not for the players. Everyone gives me the 98% of people who are vaccinated don't get COVID again. The odds of me getting it in the NFL and playing for 10 years are lower than that, and I'm here. I don't understand, again, everybody that's fighting this vaccination stuff. Understand, dude, if we all get vaccinated, we all lessen the chance of getting COVID. Unless you have a medical issue, you really don't have an excuse not to get vaccinated. Like I told you yesterday, look at India and look at Brazil. That's what happens when there's ignorance, and you also cannot provide for your country what they need in order to prevent, what we're seeing is a pandemic. And now the numbers have gone down drastically because a ton of us have been obviously vaccinated. And thanks to those of us that have vaccinated, we're the catalysts to why we're all going back to normal. Because if we did not vaccinate, then we would be India and Brazil. And I don't think any of us want India and Brazil. We already went through it before. When we didn't have the vaccine, thousands were dying every day. We can't have thousands of Americans dying every day. What we have to do is be smart and vaccinate and stop complaining. What I love is then people were just absolutely ripping into Cole Beasley's dumb ass. Stephen Ruiz says, you have to admire Cole Beasley's willingness to argue things that he's clearly wrong about. And then some guy, Ben Glassmeyer, says, message to Cole Beasley, and he's got a picture of Oh, damn it. What's the name of the old man that was running for president? Thank God he didn't run. He probably wouldn't want Bernie Sanders. And it says there's a line under Bernie that says, "I am once again asking you to shut the F up." Another guy says, Cole Beasley took God knows what amount and kind of painkillers to play on a broken leg, but won't get a vaccine. Isn't it funny? They'll take the Toradol. They'll take all kinds of terrible drugs that F up your liver to hell, but he's not going to take a vaccine. It's like what I told you yesterday or the day before. We vaccinated people for polio. People vaccinate every year for the flu. They vaccinate for the measles. What's the difference? It's another vaccine. It's what we do. And it's got a bunch of wrestlers, a picture with one of the girls interviewing. It says, Cole Beasley calculating his COVID odds after already making it to the NFL. And it's showing them. Another guy, Jackson, says, Cole Beasley has basically asked to speak with the NFL's manager. We are changing his name to Karen Beasley. Tyler Conway says, damn, Cole, that's crazy. If only you could simply get vaccinated, then you wouldn't have to cry on Twitter. Doug Farrar says, Cole Beasley scored 3 touchdowns on 93 slot targets last season. Isaiah McKenzie scored 5 on 20 slot targets. So maybe Beasley isn't the guy to be talking about probability. That is awesome. That is awesome stuff. I love it how he got roasted. Anyway. What else did I wanted to talk about? Oh, by the way, if you're a Foo Fighters fan, they are coming out with a disco album now. Seriously. Go look for it. They redid the Bee Gees. It's freaking hilarious. It's actually good. They did a really good job, so I'm actually not going to make a joke about it. But it did remind me a little bit of Kiss, because Kiss did the I Was Made for Loving You deal, right? And Kiss fans were like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. They did a disco song and this and that. And it was, in the height of the disco era. And so Kiss did I Was Made for Loving You. And it's a great song. And it's still one of the songs they play in their concerts because it's one of the songs people want to hear because it's a terrific song. And if you ever, there's a metal band called Ghost, okay? They're a new band. They've been out about 10 years maybe, something like that, 10, 12 years. They've got about 5 albums, I want to say. A really good band. I've seen them live a couple times. Some of you turned me on to them a few years back. I forgot what listeners turned me on to Ghost several years back. And Greeper also, my buddy, also is a big Ghost guy, and he kind of turned me on to him also. And then I started listening to him, and I've become a big fan. But metal bands, okay, I wouldn't call Kiss a metal band. I'd call them more of a hard rock band is what I'd call them. But they went and did, I Was Made for Loving You. Well, the same thing here. Ghost, they have a song called Dance Macabre. Okay? I want you to check that song out. You can listen to anything else Ghost, and it's metal. Okay? It is heavy metal. Really good melodic metal. It's really, really good. I love Ghost music. Don't get me wrong. But Dance Macabre is nothing like anything that they do. But it's definitely, you can dance to it. Okay? Check it out. But I saw the Foo Fighters song, the Bee Gees song. What was it? I wrote it down. What song was it that they were doing? You Should Be Dancing. And they did a really, really good job. Okay? I mean, I got to give Grohl a lot of credit because his falsetto was pretty good, man. That's not an easy You never want to mess with the Bee Gees because that sound is, forget it. It's one of those things that you cannot duplicate. It's like trying to duplicate Stevie Nicks or something. it's really hard. It's just it's a distinctive sound that it's just hard to try to duplicate. And not that he duplicated it, but he did it in the same fashion, and he did a pretty damn good job, man. It sounds good. Apparently that album's gonna have like 5 or 6 songs, all kinds of dance songs. So I wonder if Foo Fighter fans are going to freak out that Dave Grohl and company are doing that, which I don't think they will. I think people will be pretty cool about it. But I wonder how much Ghost fans, like hardcore guys, maybe they probably hate Dance Macabre out of all the songs. Just like back in the day, a bunch of Kiss fans, they were disgusted by the fact that they made I Was Made for Loving You. There were Kiss fans that stopped being Kiss fans because of that song. Oh, that's it, I'm done with them, that kind of stuff. Like some Metallica fans, once the Black Album came out, they thought they sold out too, that kind of deal. Funny. Anyway, it is time to wrap it up. We have done, another 2 hours today on the program. I will tell you this, I thought for sure that I was going to struggle to do 2 hours today on the show. I'll be honest. I was like, man, am I going to be able to come up with 2 hours of discussion? And somehow or another, we were able to come up with 2 hours of discussion, which was, remember, we're not taking any breaks here. It's 2 hours and 12, right? 2 hours and 12 minutes of straight talk with a late super chat coming in by Mike Grulong. Mike, thank you, sir. Mike Grulong is always coming through for us, man. Always, thank you. He says, thank you. In closing, happy birthday to Sir Paul McCarthy, 79 years old today, music legend. It's funny that you mentioned that, Ray, the other day, because I love cruising on YouTube and watching and listening to music and concerts. And I was actually watching some McCartney and Wings. And I got to be honest with you, man. There was a part of me that was like, man, I wish I could have seen Paul in the Wings. That would have been really, really cool if I was able to do that, man. So I'm with you there. So happy birthday to Sir Paul McCarthy. Steve M. We got a couple of super chats coming in late on the show. Thank you, Steve M. I appreciate you. And he's got a sticker. Oh, this is a new one. It says what? Critical hit? I like it. I have not seen. That's a different kind of sticker. I wonder if they added new stickers. Is that what it is? That's a good one. I like it, man. I always like when you guys put the stickers on there. Thank you, Steve M., for sending in a little super chat. Appreciate Mike Dizzle and Leon Fresco also sending in super chats today, as always. It's been a pretty good week, man. We did 4 days out of 5 because we started on Tuesday. GP Trap says, I saw Paul in Philly in 76, Wings Over America, you bastard. I am jealous, okay? I mean, GP, I've been to a lot of great concerts on my own that a lot of people would be jealous about, but I got to tell you, that's one I'm jealous, man. Speaking of the Kiss fans and things like that, there were Beatles fans that kind of soured on Paul McCartney when he went with, when he did what he did with Wings, because they thought he was a little too poppy, and not enough rock or whatever, which I always thought the Beatles were kind of rock and pop anyways, as it is. So to me, it wasn't a big deal. I love the Beatles, and I love everything about Paul McCartney and Wings. Okay, Paul McCartney also did some good stuff on his own, on the solo stuff, but I thought the Wings band was pretty damn good overall, and I thought, they came up with a ton of really good music, man, back in the day. So GP Trap, you lucky bastard, you got to see Paul McCartney and Wings. That is freaking awesome, dude. That is awesome. Did you get me a shirt while you were there? Because you should have known in 76 that in 2021 I was going to ask you for a shirt for the concert. You should have kept it in a bag somewhere, sealed and ready to go. So when I asked for it, I got you a shirt from 76. Here you go. Would have been awesome. And you can make so much money with those shirts nowadays. That's the other thing. All right, we are out of here. Thank you, as always. Wings Over America LP movie and album are classics. Yes, I've seen them. I saw the movie. It is awesome. GP Trap goes, I got a freaking Mike Gesicki shirt. There you go. Love it. I love it. I hope they sign him to a contract. I really do. I hope they give Mike a contract. I know some people feel the Hunter Long draft pick means he's out, but I think Gesicki deserves a new contract. I want to see him come back here with the Dolphins. What he did last year I was so impressed with, and especially when he had the shoulder injury and he came back the following week and made that catch. That was just absolutely nasty. That was studly, man. So I'm a big Gesicki fan. I hope they re-sign him. Thank you all out there as always. We will see you all tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Bill will join me here on the show. We'll have a little fun. I love you all out there. Thank you for being so dedicated to the program and supporting us. Don't forget to smash the hell out of that like button, man. And see if we could keep growing the show. It is very, very important to the future of the show so we could grow and grow and grow, as they say. Y'all be safe out there. Maybe we'll catch you tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time, but it'll be somewhere in the afternoon, probably early afternoon, something like that. I don't think it'll be in the morning, but it'll be probably early afternoon. If you subscribe to the podcast, you'll get the alert that we're on, and we'll be ready to rock. Thank you all again out there for listening, for downloading, for hitting the like button, for sharing the links with folks on social media and everywhere else. We appreciate it. That's how it helps us grow immensely. We will see you tomorrow, or we'll catch you on Monday. You all be safe out there, all right? Be good.